Welcome back to Go Figure. Today we are on lesson 36 of Saxon Algebra Half, Rate Word Problems. So just to review, what is a rate? So a rate can also be called a ratio. It's usually expressed as a fraction, and it's just a comparison of two numbers with different units. For example, 24 pencils cost $3. What is the rate in pencils per dollar? And what is the rate in dollars per pencil? So we can get two rates out of this problem. If we make a fraction with the number of pencils in our numerator and the number of dollars in our denominator, we get 24 over 3, which is 8 pencils per dollar. And similarly, we could find the rate in dollars per pencil just by flipping that fraction, $3 per 24 pencils. So that would be 1/8 of a dollar per pencil, and you could think of 1/8 of a dollar as 1/8 of 100 cents, which is around 12.5 cents is what it would be per pencil. So today our learning objective is to solve rate word problems using unit rates. So we'll go through the steps first. So first, you just want to read your problem and identify the given information. Second, you're going to write both rates as a fraction. So again, with the information, you can make two different rates just by putting one number in the numerator and for one of your rates, and then in the denominator for your second rate. And then we can also simplify that ratio to find the unit rate. Third, we're going to select the rate that has the desired units in the numerator. So depending on what question is being asked for you to find, you want to use the rate that has that end result unit in your numerator. And you'll see what that looks like when we go through some examples. And then we're going to solve using this pattern. Rate times the number equals your total. So let's see what this looks like. So let's say that 5 bales of hay cost $100. What are the two rates or ratios implied by this statement? So we can write this in two different ways. We can write 5 bales per $100. Actually, I think I have this typed out, so that's much better. Okay, so we have 5 bales per $100. Or we could just flip that fraction upside down and have our other rate, which is $100 per 5 bales. So when you're going through your problems in your textbook, it's usually going to ask you what are the two rates that you can get from the statement. So one question we could ask is, how many bales can you buy for $360? Now, the thing with deciding which of these rates we want to use to find an answer, you want to really pay attention to your question. So look at this part where it says how many bales. So our answer is going to be bales. So then we're going to pick the rate that has bales in the numerator, and that's how we know which rate we want to choose between these two. So we're going to use that. So I'm going to do 5 bales. So again, we're going to follow that pattern that we said, the rate times the number. So I have 5 bales for $100, and then we're going to multiply it by $360. And you know what? I'm just going to use the dollar sign to go faster. Okay, so then our dollars are going to cancel out, and then we can go ahead and do the math. So we could reduce this fraction from 5/100ths to 1/20, and then multiply it by 360. So then you're really saying 360 divided by 20, which would be 18. And then notice the units that we have left are bales, which is exactly what the question was asking. It was asking us how many bales can we buy for that much money. So we can buy 18 bales with $360. All right, and the third question, how much does it cost to buy 30 bales? Again, look at your question to decide which of your two rates that you want to use. How much does it cost, right? So cost means how many dollars. So that means we're going to find the rate that has dollars in the numerator because our bales need to cancel out when we end up multiplying. So I'm going to do $100 for 5 bales. And then we're going to multiply it by 30 bales, is how many we want to get. And then we can go ahead and solve. So our bales cancel out. And then we have 100 over 5. 100 divided by 5 is 20 times 30 gives us $600. So it costs $600 to buy 30 bales. And here's another example. So a faucet fills 18 gallons in 6 minutes. What are the two rates implied by this statement? Okay, so first you can do 18 gallons per 6 minutes. And then your second rate, you're just flipping that fraction over, 6 minutes per 18 gallons. And then which one we want to use depends on what question is asked. So our first question asked, how many minutes will it take to fill 50 gallons? So again, pay attention to your question. How many minutes? We want minutes in our answer. So that means we're going to pick the second rate to find our answer. So I'm going to just write 6 over 18, and then we're multiplying it by 50 gallons. So imagine I wrote out our units. The gallons cancel out, and we're left with minutes. So let's see, 6 over 18 can be reduced to 1 over 3. And so then we have 1/3 times 50, which would be 50 divided by 3, which is 16, and there would be a remainder of 2. So 16 2/3 minutes it will take to fill 50 gallons. And next, how many gallons can be filled in 10 minutes? So our question, how many gallons? We want our answer to have gallons, so that means we're going to pick the rate that has gallons in the numerator. So we'll do 18 over 6, and then we're going to multiply it by the number we have, which is 10 minutes. Our minutes would cancel out, and we'd be left with gallons. We can simplify this 18 over 6 as 3. 3 times 10 is 30. So that means we can fill 30 gallons in 10 minutes. And here are your practice problems from your textbook. Go ahead and pause the video and work these out. Press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, first, chestnuts cost 40 cents for 2 ounces. Write the two rates or ratios implied by the statement. So we should have 40 cents per 2 ounces and 2 ounces per 40 cents. How many ounces of chestnuts can Joan buy for $1.20? Now look at our question, how many ounces? We want ounces to be left, so that means we are going to choose the rate that has ounces in our numerator. So you should pick 2 ounces per 40 cents. And then we're going to multiply that by, now pay attention to this because here we have 40 cents and our question says $1.20. So let's change that to cents, which would be 120 cents. And then we can go ahead and multiply. So we could reduce this. 2 over 40 is the same as 1 over 20. And then multiply that by 120. So then you're left with 12 over 2. So 6. And then the units that we have left are ounces because our cents canceled out. So 6 ounces of chestnuts you can buy for $1.20. Now, what would be the cost of 50 ounces of chestnuts? So our question is, what is the cost? So we want our dollars or our cents in the numerator of our rate. So we're going to choose this one, the 40 cents per 2 ounces. Then we're going to multiply it by our number, which is 50 ounces. OZ for abbreviation. Our ounces cancel out. And then 40 divided by 2 is 20. 20 times 50 is 1,000. And notice that is in cents, 1,000 cents, but it would be easier to put this in dollars. So if we divide by 100, that would give us $10. So it would cost $10 to buy 50 ounces of chestnuts. And that's all for today. So be sure that when you're going through those problems that you're thinking about both of the rates that you can use, and you want to choose that one that has your desired result units in the numerator so that you get the correct answer. So go ahead and do problem set 36 and then read lesson 37 for next time.